This is the first meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners, Town of Woodbridge and Traffic Authority for 2024. So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, item number one, the election of officers and subcommittee appointments is going to be postponed until our next meeting. Rob will be healthy by then and be joining us. So, next thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the October 16th meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'd like to hear a motion to
So
move to
moved.
approve.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You second that?
I thought I made a motion, but
Oh,
I'll
I
second.
second.
Oh,
Sorry
you
about that.
second, okay. Okay, fine. There are no public comments. So we'll move on to review of reports. The Chief?
Yeah. So first report I have is the financial report, and obviously, at the first of the year, we're halfway through this fiscal year, and as of last week, we remain right on target, having used just 50% of our budget thus far. There's really not too much of significance that I'm concerned about at this point, except for the one line that has really been impacted, has been our police overtime line, which is CV 50430. As of last week, we're already 5.6% over what was approved. But that's all directly correlates with our diminished staffing level associated with our 3 officer vacancies that we currently have people in field training for. And we still have 1 pending vacancy and 2 officers that are out on and have been out on extended workers' compensation related injuries. So that's the explanation for that. And all the other lines are pretty much in order. Some that are high are ones that have annual fees and those contracts that took up a bulk of those. So that's it on the financial side.
Any other comments? Questions? Accept a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
All in favor?
Thank you.
And for the activity report, I'll summarize the criminal activity report for you first. This covers the last 3 months, so for October, November, and December, since we have a couple prior meetings. So during the past 3 months, amongst the various other calls, as you'll see reflected in your monthly statistical reports that were distributed, officers responded to, over those 3 months, 5 burglaries. Those burglaries included 4 residential burglaries. They were in the area of Route 69, Route 243, which is Sonda Road, Amity Road, and Route 67 areas of town. And also 1 commercial forcible burglary occurred on a business on Lucy Street, in which 2 vehicles and a bunch of tools were stolen. During this period, the officers responded to 1 fight in progress, 8 fraud cases, 8 larceny investigations, 10 larceny from motor vehicle calls. Those still continue during the overnight hours in various locations throughout town. They responded to 252 calls for medical assistance throughout town at the assisted living facility and nursing facilities. 1 missing person investigation, and that person was subsequently located out of town. We had 6 stolen vehicle investigations. 3 were stolen out of driveways, residential driveways. 2 were stolen during the commercial burglary that I just mentioned. And of those, 4 or 5 of those have since been recovered all out of town. And then we also recovered 1 stolen vehicle on Route 69 that had been taken, stolen out of Haven. Officers also responded to 52 suspicious activity calls of various types. And we had 1 armed robbery of a Route 69 business that still remains under investigation. Associated with that activity, the ISU report. So the Investigative Services Unit assumed 19 new cases during the past 3 months. They prepared and executed 2 search warrants, one of which was associated with an ongoing burglary investigation, the other pertained to an arson investigation, and was done in collaboration with the town's fire marshal. They've been working with the state's attorney's office in preparation for the upcoming case involving the second suspect who was arrested for the 2021 Pease Road homicide. The first suspect was just a few months ago convicted and sentenced, and we're hoping for another successful prosecution for the second suspect that will be coming up. Additionally, they also conducted 25 public fingerprinting requests and performed processing and background investigations for 17 pistol permits, and also background investigation for 2 officer candidates. And important note, they've been working to their credit and also Janice in keeping our daily operations and responsibilities of our records room functioning while our records clerk has been out on extended medical absence for a couple of months now, so they've had their hands full keeping that going as well. And that's all for criminal activity report. And then for the traffic activity report, for the period coming October 1st through December 31st of '23, our officers conducted a total of 909 deterrent traffic post assignments, 916 traffic speed radar assignments, and they conducted 187 motor vehicle stops associated with traffic violations during that period. During the 3-month period, there were also a total of 84 motor vehicle accidents, and that included 68 with no injuries, 15 involving injuries, and 1 involved a fatality that I sent that press release out. And that accident occurred during the early morning hours of November 26th. It involved 1 occupant, a vehicle with 1 occupant, and it was a 46-year-old Bethany resident. Her vehicle was found partially overturned and severely damaged off the road and someone's private property. Preliminary investigation indicates the vehicle was traveling north on Avenue Road, veered off the road, struck a tree, and landed on its side, and came to rest at that location. So that currently remains under investigation and reconstruction. And that's all I have for the activity.
Any questions or comments on the activity report? So I'll move for a vote.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Next item will be report of Chief of Police.
Just a few topics. The first is approval of our 13-month meeting schedule. So a copy of the proposed police commission meetings scheduled for 2024 was included in your packets. As usual, the meetings continue to take place on the 3rd Monday of each month. As you can see there are 3 dates that the meetings were changed to the 1st or 2nd Monday of the month due to various holidays. One of those dates is tonight's meeting due to Martin Luther King Day, which is coming up on the 15th. And the other 2 dates are February 5th due to President's Day. February 19th for that, and January 13th due to Martin Luther King Day being on January 20th. So our meeting dates for the 2024 calendar are due to be, actually they're overdue, but due to be filed with the town clerk, so we'll need a motion to approve those if we
Can
can.
you say that I will not be here on the 5th of February?
Okay, thank you for letting us know.
And I think I will, November 18th, I will not be here.
Okay.
And August 19th is questionable, but I know I will be way out of town on February 5th and November 18th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the 13-month meeting schedule as proposed?
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, the next topic I had was regarding the Amity High School's School Resource Officer memorandum of understanding. There were some revisions to that. So back in October, Amity Superintendent Jim Byers reached out to me requesting some revisions to be made to the current School Resource Officer memorandum. The proposed changes, a copy of which was included in your packets previously, were recommended by the Amity Board of Ed attorney and pertain to several pieces of new legislation that were enacted over the past 2 years since that document had been signed before. And they mandate certain trainings and regulations for SROs that are applicable throughout the state. The revisions pertain to instances involving seclusion and restraint, reporting, records management, and training. Additionally, new legislation that came out in July of 2023 mandates that the schools, any schools that have school resource officers, that their related MOUs be made public and be put on their website. So I've shared the proposed revisions with Chairman Burr for his review and also with Town Council, Mr. Weiner, and he has approved the changes. And I was going to ask for approval for Rob to sign it, for the chair to sign it this evening. Seeing that he's not gonna be here, he's discussed it last night. And I told him I would present it for approval and then get it to him for signing afterwards, and he was fine with that as well, as long as the board feels fit and agrees to approve it.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
The next update is just an update on our dispatch renovation project. So during the October meeting, the Board of Selectmen awarded the construction bid and approved the funding that's necessary to renovate our dispatch center. Since then, over the last few months, we've been meeting with the architect, the contractor, and all the vendors involved with the project to coordinate the final details and to order the necessary materials. The project will be starting at the end of this week. We'll be running the cabling, temporary cabling down, and the end of this week, and then dispatch will be temporarily relocated into this room here, and that, we're looking for the transfer of the 911 and everything. That's all going to occur on January 16th, so a week from tomorrow. And so we'll be down here for several weeks, and barring any manufacturing or delivery delays, if everything goes as targeted, we're looking for completion by the end of February, or thereabouts. So that'll be very well received. We're looking forward to that. And so next month's meeting will probably be scheduled to a different location somewhere in this building, that you know where it's going to be.
I would imagine we should be able to get a room upstairs.
Yeah, absolutely, or the senior center, or
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
try.
whatever. And just an update, back on October 28th, we partnered with the Drug Enforcement Agency, as we've done in the past for the nationwide drug take-back event. This year, we also work with BODAC, the Deathly Orange Woodbridge Drug and Alcohol Action Committee. Our department and the Orange Police Department combined publicity about the event to announce the 2 different collection sites, the one here and the one in Orange at the High Plains Community Square. The event was very successful again this year, with a total of 94 pounds of unwanted pharmaceuticals collected in our town and turned over to the DEA for disposal. So for his efforts associated with the collection, I'd like to recognize Sergeant Capiello, who is our representative and coordinator again this year for that event. And then some other events that came up subsequent to that and over the holidays. On Veterans Day, the town held its annual Veterans Day ceremony in the Center Gymnasium, and our police department honor guard comprised of Sergeant Scott, Sergeant Capiello, and Sergeant Pedalino, all presented the colors during that ceremony. And I'd like to recognize and thank each of them for their fine representation of the department at that event. And throughout the holidays, we did a couple other events. They did the Stuff a Cruiser event on Saturday, December 2nd. Members of the department teamed up with Starbucks, Katz's Deli, the Michael Creamery, Amity Motors, Mike's Towing, and Auto Repair, the UPS store from Seymour, and the U.S. Marine Corps to conduct their annual Stuff a Cruiser Holiday Toy Drive that was held at the Andrews Plaza. On the following day, December 3rd, Sergeant Pedalino also represented the department at the JCC Crafts Fair. We also received donations. Both events were very successful, and like years past, all the toys and donations were distributed to the Marine Corps Toys for Tot program, the Ronald McDonald House, and the Connecticut Special Olympics. So I'd like to thank and recognize both Sergeant Pedalino, who coordinated and attended both events, and all the members of the Woodbridge Police Union that, as well as all the organizations involved, for taking the time to participate in that and to brighten the holidays of those who are less fortunate. And then right after that, the week later, several of our officers, along with former officer and now Beecher Hill School security officer Lynch, participated, as they have in the past couple of years, with the annual Shop of the Cop event that they did at the Connecticut Post Mall. This year, the event was done in conjunction with the Reach Foundation, and the officers had dinner with children, that they shopped with them at Target, and where they used gift cards and they were able to buy gifts for their families and themselves. And for that, I'd like to recognize Detective Luzzi, Sergeant Pedalino, and Detective Iannucci, and School Security Officer Lynch for their participation in that wonderful event as well, and to keep that tradition going. This is like the fourth year possibly, or more, that they've been doing that. And the last update I had for you was about our union contract negotiations. So contract negotiations have been ongoing between the town and both of our collective bargaining units. The AFSCME union, which represents the dispatchers and our records clerk, they recently ratified a tentative agreement that was also approved by the Board of Selectmen. And currently negotiations with the police union are ongoing. Both of those collective bargaining units had expired in June of 2023. And both Chairman Burke and Commissioner Esposito have been involved with the negotiation process, and we'll keep you updated on the status and the resolution as we move forward with those. And that's all I have for my report.
So we need a motion to accept Frank's proposal on the union,
Accept the chief's report.
accept the chief's report,
Yeah.
all of it, okay.
Thank you both.
All in favor?
Next topic is personnel. I'd just like to update you on two matters there. One is about extended absences. So we continue managing the challenges, as I mentioned before, associated with several extended absences that we've had for the past few months. Including, we have one sergeant who remains out of work on an extended workers' comp related injury since March, and his return to date is still to be determined. He's under doctor's care. And we have an officer who is presently on a workers' comp related injury that started on November 3rd, and his return to work at this point, the date is uncertain, and also pending further medical review. Additionally, as I mentioned, our records clerk unfortunately sustained an off-the-job injury in the middle of October, and her return to work date is uncertain, but we heard some favorable news today, and we're hoping that she might be back towards the end of this month. But as I mentioned, with the assistance of Janice and ISU, we're doing our best to fulfill her responsibilities until she returns. And then most recently, in the last couple of weeks, we have two employees out for non-job related medical reasons. One with a planned procedure, who will be out for 2 weeks, and another with an unanticipated medical issue, who will also be out for the next few weeks as well. And then the other matter I want to update you on the personnel, just a quick status update on our recent hires. So new hire officer Thomas Testa, who was one of the 2 certified officers candidates that was offered positions during our September meeting. He started his employment and field training process with us on October 31st. And the second officer that was also offered a position that evening, Officer Nicholas Sammartino, he started with us on November 27th. Our third new hire, Officer Ty Robinson, who was offered a position with us at the October meeting, he successfully completed all of his final testing and requirements, and he also started work with us on November 28th. Pleased to report that all 3 officers have been progressing very well with the field training process, and at the end of last week, they all successfully completed their required emergency medical responder certification, and they just took the national test at the end of the week, and all 3 passed. And their paperwork is just was put into the Department of Public Health for their official certification, which we hope to receive. And as soon as we do, I anticipate that they'll all be released from field training by the end of the month and be able to join our regular patrol. So that'll ease the challenge that everyone's been enduring for a little bit now. But they've been doing really well, so I'm happy to report that. And then that leaves us with 1 remaining patrol officer vacancy that we're still actively trying to fill. Currently, we have 1 out-of-state certified officer who's going in our process, and he's getting vetted. And in addition, we're continuing to advertise for non-certified new recruit officers. And we're in the testing process with the South Central Criminal Justice Administration, and their testing process is just getting started now, and actually the first portion of the written exam will be held this Wednesday, January 10th, the first step of that. And that's all I have under personnel.
Chief, was the records clerk a job-related,
No,
wasn't job-related?
no, it was all.
But not job-related, so just the first 2 are workman's comp, really?
Yes,
And one of them's been out for
since
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
So that's all being overseen through the workman's comp people. That's it for me.
Yeah, we don't need a motion. Go ahead.
Okay, good. And the last topic, what we have in the budget matters. So we both have the capital budget and the operating budget. So the proposed capital budget was completed, and as you can see, it includes 5 projects for fiscal year '25. 3 of those projects were previously approved and are currently in progress. So some of the funding requests relate to the multi-year payments necessary to complete those projects. And those include our body worn and dashboard camera replacement project. That's the funding for year 3 of a 5-year plan. And then our S2 administratively controlled door access security project. That's the final portion of that, so that allows us to finish that. That was reduced in last year's budget, so we just want to finish the last couple of ports on that. It's a 16-port unit, and we just want to utilize that to its maximum capacity. And then the third project was our replacement of our handheld and portable radios and in-car mobile radios. And that's something that's already been approved, but we just have to budget out, and that would be the budget for year 1 of a 5-year lease purchase program that the finance director's setting up. That stuff had already, the previous approval by the Board of Selectmen's been ordered, and actually we just heard that some of that stuff might be coming in the very near future. Then the remaining 2 projects in the capital budget include proposal to replace 2 of our older patrol vehicles that have high mileage vehicles, and then the replacement of our patrol vehicle mobile data terminals, which have all reached their end of life and experiencing malfunctions and no longer worn Form 2 supported. So, met with Commissioner Esposito of the Budget Subcommittee last month, and we discussed and he reviewed and agreed with the proposals. Not sure if Commissioner has anything about that.
No, I've been working with Frank on the budgets and the capital budgets, and these are things that have been in the works for years. And they're finally getting done.
So unless there's any questions, we would need a vote to approve the proposed capital budget for fiscal year 25.
So moved. To approve.
Do I have a second? Thank you.
And then the other
Approved?
top, under
Approved?
budget was the operating budget.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You need approval
Yep.
for everybody.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay. Thank you, Frank.
And the next one was our fiscal 25 operating budget proposal. So that's been completed, and I also reviewed that with Commissioner Esposito last week. And the copies are included in your packets, as you can see. As always, most of the increases are associated with personnel and salary-related costs. And some of these this year include the new collective bargaining agreement for our dispatchers. So that CBA was, that collective bargaining agreement was ratified and was approved by the Board of Selectmen. So that was increases reflected there, a total about 5%, because it was 2.5% for fiscal year 23-24, which was owed, and then compounded for fiscal year 24-25. So that's all included in that. And then also, something that was in there now with the transfer of funding for one of our existing officers who was previously funded by the Woodbridge Board of Ed. That funding for that officer was transferred into our line. So those are two significant increases that you'll see. And also in there for this year, as we proposed last year as well, again, we're gonna request one additional officer to assist us in addressing staffing and manpower, enhancing operational efficiency, safety concerns, reducing overtime associated with minimum staffing levels, and also to maintain our increasing IT requirements that are associated with a lot of new criminal justice related record entry, access, and transmittal software that has to all be implemented and trained on. And then we have a vast array of new mandates that came along with the Police Accountability Act that were statutorily mandated to complete. And one is a really laborious task. It's achieving different levels of accreditation by certain deadlines. So we really struggle with that because we have to get it done. And there's one component of it is research and staffing and that aspect of it, and drafting all materials and all. But then the other component is that it all has to be entered electronically into this Power DMS software so that the state can review it. So that's what we've been struggling with. On the so that's most of the stuff on the contractual side. On the operational side, we were able to keep the proposed increase very minimal. I think just the the operational side was about 2.6. It was a very minimal increase. And I'm not sure if Commissioner Esposito has anything that you'd like to add for this one as well.
Well, as you can see, it's a very detailed line item budget. And it's been gone through a couple of times, but it's not a de facto budget. I mean, we know that, we've been told that, that we're gonna have to take a hard look on the budgets, and this is one of them. Now, the contractual side is not even finished yet. Dispatch has been done, but we're still negotiating with the officers, so there's a lot of, there's some work gonna have to be done on this budget, and we can, Frank and I have talked about it, and it's, we're gonna do what we have to do. And it's the same with every other department in town this year. I think our new selectman has made it very clear that he's made a commitment to people, the townspeople, to keep taxes down and keep budgets down. So this is what we have to look at. So we're not finished with this, there'll be more work done on it.
Two
So-
questions. One, did I hear correctly that this budget proposes one additional officer beyond the filling of the vacancy which still has to be filled, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Which I respect, given the many discussions you've had about staff, no question there at all. Secondly, is there an overall figure on the increase? It sounds like it's between 2.5 and 5 there, but.
Yes. Yeah, so overall, if with the 24th officer, so with an additional officer, that increase, looks like it'd be about a 7.6% increase overall.
Operating
With the
and
extra.
salaries, yes. Thank you.
Operational and contractual.
Mhm.
On the operational side, it looked like it was, like I mentioned, 2.6%. And if my math is right, for the 24th, on the contractual portion of it alone, there's like an 8.4% with 24. If we had 23, it would be a 5.6% increase.
Thank you.
So, what are our agenda says review and approve, but you're saying that there's work to be done. So what are the next steps for this?
Well,
operating
this is this is for us to submit, okay? We wanna approve it, then we're gonna submit it as is.
Mhm.
And we're just saying that, we're gonna be asked to, like every other department in town, to go back and take another hard look. This is what we think is our best budget for our department. This is what we're gonna submit. And that's what we want for approval. That's what we're looking for. It may not be final, but it's what we're going with that. That's what we're gonna submit for approval.
Yeah, so the next step in the process, so we'll be on Thursday, January 25th is our date to present the budget. And this year, actually, the budget presentation process is somewhat different than it's been in all the years past. So the way that, before we used to present the capital budget on one night and the operating budget on another night, now they're going to do it all at once. So each department will present their capital budget followed by their operating budget at the same night. So it might be a little bit longer, but it'll just be one night per department. So like I said, ours is scheduled for Thursday, January 25th at the 6 p.m. hour. I think we'll like the second or third department that will be going, but sometime between 6 and 7, closer to 6. But prior to that, we'll need a vote, as Commissioner Esposito said, to accept the proposed budget as it is, and so I can get into the finance director.
So moved.
All in favor? Do we have a second?
Thank you all very
Okay.
much.
All right, so I'm gonna move for adjournment.
Second?
All in favor? So now we go to traffic authority.
So the budget discussion is the 25th at 6 or around 6?
Yeah, the meetings start at 6, and we're, I think, the third department that goes. And then another group comes in at 7, so we're at 6 o'clock.
Right, traffic?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, the only topic I have, I just wanted to update you quickly on, was the intersection of Rimmon Road and Johnson Road. After our discussion of the October meeting, I did draft a letter and sent it to the Connecticut Department of Transportation, the Division of Traffic Engineering, requesting that they conduct another traffic study at that intersection. I believe a copy went out in your packets for your review, but in the letter, they were asked to revisit their previous studies, and, which they did indicate traffic concerns in the past, and determine if there's any additional need for traffic control or line of sight improvements that would minimize any identified safety concerns at that intersection, because as we discussed a few months ago, the accidents are still ongoing there. The DOT acknowledged receipt of the letter, and I'll just wait for a response from them, and when that comes in, I will update the traffic authority. And that's the only matter I have for traffic authority purposes.
Okay,
You vote on?
motion to adjourn?
Accept the motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Thank you.